Hi everybody, it's Mrs. Murphy at the Upton Town Library, and welcome to our What's New segment of what's new in the children's and young adult collection. So let's get started and take a look. So here we are at the board books where we always get started. We've moved a lot of our titles to the top shelf. We've got our newest titles as well as our seasonal titles up here on display, easy for picking. And the rest of the titles are just board books in any random order. So if you come in with your kids and they're pulling board books out, there's no order to these. As long as they are in the board book collection, they're in the right spot. So our newest board book here is called B is for Baby, and the author is Atanuke. So it's just a very simple letter book, great illustrations, which I really love. You can see that. And then up above we've got some Easter books and some spring books. So once again, our Easter books, no matter what collection, we'll have our Easter stickers. And our spring books will have our spring stickers. If your family celebrates Passover or another holiday and we don't have a sticker for that, we'll just put a generic holiday sticker on it, just so you know that it is a holiday book. Our holiday books remain in our attic during most of the year until the time of year that they're celebrated. So if you don't find what you're looking for and you're looking for a particular holiday, don't hesitate to ask. We can always pull it out of storage for you. We've got one more board book that's new to our collection, and it's this new Eric Carle, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star and Other Nursery Rhymes. It's a lift the flap book. Eric Carle's had a few new board books and he's got a few more coming out later this year. So this is the one we've added, and it's got the great nursery rhymes that kids know, and then it's got these little flaps, which always are fun for kids to use. Here we are at the parenting collection. I know I've talked about the parenting collection in the past, but it's a collection that I'm really proud of and excited to share with you. It covers a lot of different topics in picture book format, mostly, of topics you can share with your kids and have those one-on-one conversations about. Right now on display, we've got Evelyn Del Rey is Moving Away. This is by Meg Medina. She's a Newbery medalist. This is about a little girl who has a friend that moves. So the topic of moving. Recently we had a picture book on display all about worries and obsessive compulsive thoughts, and that was a big hit with families. But really we have just about any topic you can imagine, from adoption to ADHD to potty training. So if you're looking for a book to share with your kids one-on-one, feel free to ask me. I have a curated list of topics that are available in CW Mars. So if we don't have it here, we're always able to get it for you. We added one more book to our parenting collection. This one is called I Talk Like a River by Jordan Scott and Sydney Smith. And it does a really great job of explaining the topic of stuttering to kids and what it feels like when you have those words that are stuck. And the pictures are really beautiful in this one. Let's see if I can find a page for you. It says, I wake up each morning with the sounds of words all around me, and I can't say them all. And it describes the different letters that are typically difficult for kids who stutter. The P in pine tree grows roots inside my mouth and tangles my tongue. The C is a crow that sticks in the back of my throat. The M in moon dusts my lips with a magic that makes me only mumble. So it does a really good job of describing those feelings. Here we are at the Easy Readers, always a great selection here, whether it's just a regular fiction book, a nonfiction easy reader, or a biography easy reader. We've got a lot to choose from. So here's what we've got this month. We've got a new one from the Katie Wu series, Katie Wu's Neighborhood. This is Mr. Patel Builds. This is by Fran Manushkin, so she's written a whole series of Katie Wu books, and that's Katie Wu there. We've got a brand new book all about ice cream, because spring is here and JJ's is open and we're very excited. We always like collaborating with them. And of course, we like to see a lot of people out fishing near Pratt Pond, so we've got this easy reader. And I think this one was from last month, I Want to Be a Teacher, part of the I Want to Be a series by Laura Driscoll. Ranger Rick has a lot of these great nonfiction animal books, so this is I Wish I Was a Flamingo. Let me just show you some of those pictures inside. So lots of great captions, little facts to share with the kids. And my personal favorite this month is a new Biscuit book. My kids loved Biscuit, the little puppy, when they were little, and this is Biscuit and the Little Llamas. So that's just an assortment of what we have that's new. All of our easy readers, if you're not sure, they've been just arranged by the first letter of the author's last name. So as long as your A sticker is in with the A's, we're not particular here about keeping things in perfect order in this collection. It's very user-friendly for the kids, and it's the introduction into getting things in alphabetical order. So that is our easy reader collection this month. And now for everyone's favorite collection, the picture book collection. So let's take a look. We've got a couple COVID books up here. So this one is called COVID-19 Helpers by Beth Bacon and Carrie Lee. And this just came to us. We actually did a story time with this last summer. So if you missed it, we had that last summer. But it's a great picture book written just for kids to really tell them about what happened all of a sudden in 2020. And I like this because it's really told in a simple form, so kids can see exactly what happened and try to make some sense of what was going on in the world. So that one is here. We've got a new book I'm really kind of enjoying. This is called Trouble. And can you guess who might be trouble in this story? I'm not sure, but actually they think it's the bear. The squirrel thinks it's the bear. So this story, just share a page with you because when I first saw this, I laughed. It says, our new neighbor turned up one day without warning. I don't know where he came from, but I knew just by looking at him, he was trouble. And that picture of that bear really made me laugh. So that story is called Trouble, and if you're interested, you'll have to check it out to find out if he's trouble or not. The next two were new recently, so if you didn't get a chance to see them when they were new, they're new now again. They've come back home. This is Shape Up Construction Trucks, and this is one of those kind of board book picture books. It's got nice thick pages to it, so they're a little bit more durable if your kids are just getting into picture books from the board book form. This one's nice, and Time for Bed story is all about a child going to bed, and this is the bed who tells the story of what happened. So it's told through the eyes of the bed. We'll move along a little more. And again, books are always coming in and out, so if you don't see a lot of new items on the shelf, we usually just substitute things that have been new within the past 6 months just to fill our shelves. So it's a floating collection. The Social Distance King, another one about COVID and what it's like to have to social distance. If you want to share things with your kids about that. Glory on Ice, the vampire hockey player. That was new back in November, actually. And this is Smart George by Jules Pfeffer, or Pfeiffer, rather. And that's a part of a series about George the dog. We've got our seasonal shelf. So for our seasonal shelf right now, we've got spring books, we've got Easter books, and we've got Passover books. We'll probably leave these up for a while. Once Easter and Passover have gone by, we'll put either another holiday or maybe just something about spring, maybe spring books and bird books. Always something seasonal on this shelf. We'll move down a little bit. Take a look up here. These are a few from the past few months. Magnificent Homespun Brown, I think we talked about last month. All about the different shades of brown, written by Samara Cole Doyen. That looks like fun, jumping in the leaves. On the Go Awesome. This has been in and out an awful lot, and it seems to be a popular title. Let me show you a little bit about it. I love the inside end pages. I love when authors use those end pages to extend the story. So On the Go Awesome. It says, trains are cool. Watching a train is very cool, but conducting a train through the mountains? Chugga chugga awesome. So you can have a lot of fun reading this with your child and having them help with the awesome pages. On Account of the Gum, this one was back in December, sent to us through Junior Library Guild. All about gum that gets stuck in someone's hair. And the last few we have up here are entirely new, so I'm going to move you down a little bit. Pardon the bumping. David Solman and Jackie Davis, they've written a lot of those Ladybug Girl books, if you're familiar with those. And this is all about Agent Lion and the case of the missing party. Ooh, kind of a picture book mystery. Again, great end pages. I'll show you how this book looks. There's Agent Lion out flying a kite. Suddenly his secret radio buzzed. It was a message from headquarters. He had to get to the Hotel du Lac right away to help Petunia Skunk find her missing birthday party. Agent Lion arrived at the hotel and went directly to the front desk. So this story is about Agent Lion's case. We'll see if Agent Lion solves that case. And this is another one of my favorite ones that's just come in, Bear Can't Wait. So if you're a fan of all the bear books by Karma Wilson, this is her latest, and we're very excited about it. Bear Can't Wait, and it's all about Bear, who's having a party. And he just cannot wait to have that party. So on a bright sunny day, Bear paces to and fro. He fusses and he fidgets. Why is time so slow? For so many weeks I have planned a surprise, but it's not till tonight, Bear says with a sigh. He looks toward the sun, but the day's just begun. But the bear can't wait. So this is another great one to read with your child and have them chime in on the bear can't wait part. We've read several bear books at story times, and they're fun for chiming in like that. And this one, we've been waiting quite a while for this to come from our book distributor, Outside Inside. It's another one that deals with the COVID pandemic, and it's written by Leyuan Pham. Show you that. It's been talked about an awful lot in reviews, and we've been waiting forever for this, so we were very excited that it came in. Just a really great picture book that shows again what happened over the pandemic. Something strange happened on an unremarkable day just before the season changed. Everybody who was outside went inside. Everyone, everywhere, all over the world. And the book goes on and on to talk about that. So I'm sure this will be going out an awful lot, so be sure to put your hold on this book if you're interested in looking for it. A few more that we have that have not been processed yet, so let me tilt the camera down so I can show you. These are going to be covered probably this week. So this is called Someone Builds the Dream. This is by Lisa Wheeler and Lauren Long. It's all about the people behind all the things that happen when it comes to building. So all across this great big world, jobs are getting done by many hands in many lands. It takes much more than one. An architect creates a space. She'll draw, redraw, measure, and trace a woodsy, warm, and peaceful place. But, so we've got the architect. Someone works to guide the saws, plane the logs, lead the team. Okay, so it talks a lot about the background. If one person does something, then the other people do the next thing. And it's really, really a good book. Blue Ridge Babies, 1, 2, 3. This is a counting book by Laura Sperry Gardner. And it's got to do with the region of the Appalachian Mountains. So let me just show you some of the pages. And you can sing this one. It goes to Over in the Meadow. Over in the Blue Ridge in the leaf-dappled sun lived a gentle mother dear and her little fawn one. Hide, said the mother, I hide, said the one. So they hid in the forest full of leaf-dappled sun. I love, love, love when books do a singing version. Makes the kids really pay attention and enjoy the story. We'll do one more page. Over in the Blue Ridge where the skies are so blue lived a mighty mother bear and her little cubs too. Forage, said the mother, we forage, said the two. So they foraged ripe berries where the skies are so blue. So you could do counting with this, with the numbers. You could talk about what foraging is. And it goes all the way to the number 10. And then at the end of this book, it gives you a little bit of information about what is the Blue Ridge. and it tells about that area of the Appalachians. So that's a new one. The Little Library. I know people have seen a lot of little libraries in travels probably. This is The Little Library by Margaret McNamara, and it tells all about a story of a little boy and his, I think it's his grandfather, if I remember correctly, and he gets out this same book all the time from the library. And at the end, we find out that, I'm going to give away the ending. At the end, he actually was building this little free library with his grandfather. And the librarian gives him the book about building once they've weeded it from their library. So, pretty cool book. And this one's been getting a lot of buzz as well, In My Mosque. And it's all about what goes on in a mosque. Really, really colorful pictures in this book. This is written by M.O. Yüksel, illustrated by Hatem Ali. In my mosque, we are a rainbow of colors and speak in different accents. Oh, I can't even, I'm going to try to read these words. As-salamu alaikum. I greet my friends and newcomers too. Everyone is welcome here. So it's got some words in Arabic. It talks about the process of leaving their shoes and what it feels like to wiggle their toes in that carpet and the whole prayer process. So pretty cool end pages in this book as well. So those will be processed and covered this week and added to the collection as well. So that's our picture book collection. And this one I'm pretty excited about. It's called Sunday Fun Day in Koreatown by Aram Kim. And as I was reading this, as I was adding it to the collection, it reminded me of another book. You can see the little cat. Sunday is fun day. Yumi wakes up to watch her favorite TV show, but not today. Your show is canceled. The soccer playoffs are on. And look at her face. She looks pretty sad right there. On Sundays, Dad helps Yumi make anything she wants for breakfast. Let's make kimbap. But not today. We ran out of rice, says Dad. Yumi eats cereal. She doesn't look very happy about that. So this reminded me of one of my favorite children's picture books. Alexander and the terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. Such a tongue twister of a title. But this might be a fun side-by-side comparison of stories to do with your kids. So sometimes books that are new remind us of books that are old, and it's always fun to pair them that way. Here we are at the Juvenile Fiction Collection. This is another collection that gets used an awful lot. So these are our chapter books, early chapter books, elementary age chapter books. So kids who have moved on from easy readers but aren't quite ready for the longer novels. And we call these our green dots because they have green stickers on the spines. So let's take a look what we've got. Go all the way over here, just show you some covers. The Dramatic Life of Azalea Lane. This came to us from our book sales company this past month. Jeannie Meanie, fantasy book. So many of these, it's hard to tell everything about them. But Sydney and Taylor, some animal characters. This was a Junior Library Guild send to us. What's this called? Welcome to Wonderland Sandapalooza Shake-Up by Chris Grabenstein. We've got a couple others in this series. He's written a lot of books with James Patterson as well. So those are our longer ones. Then we've got shorter chapter books as well. So elementary range is, anything from kindergarten to 4th grade. So you've got kids of all different reading levels. This is a fairy tale series we've got. The Missing Dwarf. Starla Jean, which came first, the chicken or the friendship? I think that was new last month. Muck and Magic, excuse me. This one is a little spooky, so we actually put a scary sticker on it. We don't do a lot of things like that for books, but this one's kind of scary, so we wanted to put a little warning on it for families. The Doll in the Hall and Other Scary Stories. So some kids actually like these kind of scary stories. So we put this in our juvenile fiction collection, just to give you an idea of what's in here. There's that doll at the end of the hall. So it can be a little, frightening for younger kids, but older elementary kids might enjoy this. And if they do, there are other books by this author. This author is Max Brallier. He's the author who wrote those Last Kids on Earth series that some kids might be familiar with. Ra the Mighty, the Crocodile Caper. And we've got others by this author about Ra the Mighty. It's a mystery series. Ballet Bunnies, the New Class. Just an easy chapter book. And The Great Unicorn Race. And then the couple we have on display here. Sometimes we'll put these little tags in them. Too Small Lola. This is the same author that wrote that board book that we just talked about earlier. So we'll see some chapter books by that author. Megabat is a lot of fun. So this is Megabat and the Not Happy Birthday. Megabat doesn't look too happy. But that's a fun chapter book. And Unicorn Rescue Society, The Creature of the Pines by Adam Gidwitz. So we've got lots of choices here. Just to remind you, you can come in and browse. We've got some bookmarks here, little book lists. Like if you like this, you might like that. So we've got humor suggestions, sci-fi suggestions, fantasy, historical, mystery, and realistic fiction book lists. So it'll give you ideas of newer titles that are read-alikes for things that your kids might enjoy. We've got a few more Green Dot juvenile fiction books. So we've got one of the Press Start books that a lot of kids seem to like. This is Robo Rabbit Boy Go. This is by Thomas Flintham. So this is part of a series. We've got a new one from Kondo and Kazumi, Reach Bell Bottom. We've got another one of their books in our collection. And this one I believe came to us through Junior Library Guild. Can You Whistle Johanna? Or Joanna, depending on how you pronounce that, by Ulf Stark. And those are a few more. Here we are at the preteen fiction collection. So these are our longer novels for kids, usually recommended for ages 8 through 12. Obviously there's wiggle room on either end depending on your child's reading level. The content gets a little mature. This is more geared toward older kids, middle school level kids. And we call these our Blue Dot collection here at the library because they have blue dots on the spine. So let's take a look what we have. We've got a new one by Gordon Corman called Unplugged. And this one, let me just read you a little description. It's about the son of a famous tech billionaire. The child's very spoiled, always gets what he wanted, and then his father's private jet drops him in the middle of the Arkansas wilderness at a place called the Oasis. And he's got to hand over his cell phone and go cold turkey with nothing. So it's Unplugged by Gordon Corman. So that's a new one. This one was new last month, The Good Ward, Todd Strasser, all about a video game that kids play. And then I think some of these were still from last month or the month before. Amari and the Knight Brothers. It's gotten a lot of buzz, so it's just finally come back. The Iron Trial by Holly Black and Cassandra Clare. They are both also young adult authors, so your kids might enjoy these if they like fantasy. Middle School Field Trip Fiasco by James Patterson. He writes all those great humor books that kids like. The Time of Green Magic, Hilary McKay. She's written other series in our preteen collection. We've got a mystery, Kidnap on the California Comet, which I believe there are other titles by this author. This is, who is this author? Let's see. Sometimes they get covered with the stickers. M.G. Leonard and Sam Sedgman. Alice's Farm, a Rabbit Tale. Historical fiction, Indian No More. So this one I believe takes place when? 1957. So historical fiction can happen, you know, many, many years ago, hundreds of years ago, all up until recent history, like 9/11. So historical fiction ones get these stickers. These are a couple more that'll be processed soon. So we've got 300 Days to Alaska by Kathy Carr. This is a realistic fiction one. Let's see, about 11-year-old Rigel Harmon loves her life in off-the-grid Alaska. After her parents' divorce, they have to move with their mom to their grandmother's house in Connecticut suburbs. So she hates it there. It's very different from her life in Alaska. And we've got a sci-fi book, Finn and the Time-Traveling Pajamas by Michael Buckley. We've got another one of his books, this Finn series. So if your kids are into sci-fi, we've got this book, sci-fi sticker on it. And be sure to look for those in our preteen collection. So we're here at the back of the library in the graphic novel and Spanish collection. So let's see what we've got. We've got the newest Dogman book, and I know this is going to be going out soon. We've got a waiting list for this one. So this is Dogman Mothering Heights by Dave Pilkey. He's written many in this series, so be sure to look for his other titles, such as Cat Kid. And this is another series he's written. So if you like Dogman, you'll like Cat Kid. This is Cat Kid Comic Club. We've got another one in the new Hilo series. Hilo or Hilo, I'm not sure how it's pronounced. This is Gina, the Girl Who Broke the World. So this is number 7. And our juvenile graphic novels get these red dots on them. We have separated our graphic novels into 2 levels. So our juvenile are pretty much our elementary, middle school level of graphic novels, and anything that we feel has a more mature content we put in our young adult graphic novel collection. So those tend to be middle school and high school level ones. Those are decisions the director and I make together sometimes. Beacon Alley, Unlikely Friends. This is by Norm Fayudi. Let me show you this one. It's more of an early elementary level graphic novel. So if you have kids who are beginning readers, it's a lot easier with the text. Noodleheads, Lucky Day, I believe was new a month or 2 ago. This is a series, Noodleheads, so if your kids like that. There are other titles, and Simon and Chester, Super Detectives. I'll show that one a little bit. Oh, I like that page. It's fun to talk about that. So this is a little harder for kids. There we go. And we've got a couple more graphic novels that we'll be adding. This one here, History Comics. So more of a non-fiction title, The Wild Mustang, Horses of the American West. I'll show you a little bit about that. So it's got an introduction first, a couple pages, and then we get into the comics. So your kids can learn a little bit about history with this series. And there are others. It says there's one about the Great Chicago Fire, the Roanoke Colony, and the Challenger disaster. So look for that History Comics logo. And then this one called Allergic. This is by Megan Wagner Lloyd. And I'll just read to you about it. It says, at home, Maggie is the odd one out. Her parents are preoccupied with getting ready for a new baby, and her younger brothers are twins and always in their own world. Maggie loves animals and thinks a new puppy to call her own is the answer. But when she goes to select one on her birthday, she breaks out in hives and rashes. She's severely allergic to anything with fur. So this is her story. And those are our graphic novels. Right next door we have our Spanish titles. So let's stand back and look at that. We've got the Spanish version of Evelyn Del Rey that we looked at in our parenting collection. We've got our new easy reader, Pedro. Pedro travels to Mars, so Pedro Viaje a Marte. This is a series all about Pedro. And we have some of the other titles about him. And that's about it that's new this month. We've got a couple that are ready to process, so I'll go grab those and show you as well. We've been trying to add some more nonfiction to our Spanish collection, so this is one of them, Los Leones, and it's part of a series of them, so we don't own all of these, but you can certainly look for them through CW Mars. And just to show you the reading level on these, it comes with a table of contents. Of course, in the back is an index, so you can help your kids with those. And it's just a nice, easy reading level for nonfiction with lots of captions and bold words. So the other Spanish titles we have are Ventanas, which means windows. This is by Julia Dinos. And this one is one that has an English translation. So if you like reading books along with your kids, you can always order the English version as well. I'll show you just a page from it. Sometimes our books that come in are bilingual, so they'll have the English and the Spanish on the page. This one just happens to be only English. If your kids like Katie Wu, we've got Katie Wu in Spanish. So this is Katie Wu, y su vecindario. I think it's about neighbors. Katie Wu and her neighbors. Sorpresas por correo. surprises from the mail carrier, if my Spanish is not too rusty. And this is Katie Wu y su vecindario preparados para la tormenta. Preparations for the tormenta. I don't know what that is, so you might have to read that and find out. And then we've got a nonfiction in Spanish, Gorillas. Let's see if we can look at that one. Put those books down. So we do add nonfiction as well as the picture books because the kids in school in the district are doing projects in their classes as well. So gorillas, a type of mammal, and they are the biggest primates in the world, that it says. So, and that one is Gorillas. And if your kids like this series, there are other books in this collection. It's got the titles on the back. We don't own any of them, but they may be available with your library card from another library. Here we are at the young adult collection. So these are books that are intended for older kids, upper middle school kids that are ready for a higher level of reading and content. So the young adult collection deals with a lot of mature topics. So be sure that you have those discussions with your kids if your kids are reading from this collection. They do deal with a lot of topics like mental health issues, suicide, drug use, things like that. So we've got List of 10 by Haley Gomez, or Haley Gomez, not sure. Deals with a boy who has obsessive compulsive disorder, and this book does deal with suicide, so a mature topic. Very interested to read that one, actually. Under Shifting Stars by Alexandra Latos. All about a girl and her twin. Let's see, these couple were from a few months ago, actually, the Camino Club and Concrete Rose. This is the prequel to The Hate U Give, I believe, or On the Come Up by Angie Thomas. Let's see, just to make sure I'm giving you the correct information. It's the prequel to The Hate U Give. So dealing with Black lives. Early Departures, that was new, I believe, last month by Justin A. Reynolds. When We Were Infinite came to us through Junior Library Guild. This one is an older one, Dear Justice, the book that goes along with Dear Martin by Nick Stone. We've got a thriller type book, The Project by Courtney Summers. This one is Love in English by Maria E. Andrew. So it's just a realistic high school story about kids falling for each other. Last Night at the Telegraph Club. This one's gotten a lot of buzz with reviews by Melinda Lowe. Deals with, it's a historical fiction, so we've got that sticker on there. Deals in 1954 about two girls falling in love in Chinatown. So that's the premise for that book. We've got a couple more that we'll be processing soon. A sci-fi type book called Dragonfly Girl. That one's been getting a lot of talk. This one is called Prepped by Bethany Mangle. And in the back it says Protocol for Surviving Your Doomsday Neighbors. That sounds fun. And a fiction story by Kristen Kishore, Winterkeep. So I'm sure that will go out an awful lot. And that's our young adult collection. Here we are at the young adult graphic novel collection. So again, our graphic novels we have divided into juvenile and young adult. So this is where we have the more mature topics, much longer books. We've got one purchased by our director, Matthew. So he purchased this one, Infinitum, an Afro-futurist tale by Tim Fielder. Not quite sure about that one. Got our young adult graphic novel sticker on there, and I'll show you the pages inside for that. Something appropriate to show on a video. Let's see. I guess I can show that one. So, much longer novel. This one we actually have in both our juvenile and graphic and young adult collections. We were able to get an extra copy from another library, so I added it to our young adult collection. So we have two. This is When Stars Are Scattered by Victoria Jameson. We have some of her books in both collections because she tends to fluctuate between the collections. This one was purchased by Matthew as well. Maids by Katie Skelly, and this has gone in and out a lot. And the rest I think we've had here. So Long Way Down by Jason Reynolds, rather. Mike Curato has written Flamer. House of L. This is dealing with Greek mythology, Oh My Gods. And Jerry Craft's sequel to New Kid is still here, Class Act. So we don't add as many young adult graphic novels, but we do have some, and we are able to access other libraries. So be sure to ask us if there's something you can't find. Here we are at the periodical collections. We've got our young adult periodicals back here. We've got American Teen, Girls Life, Mad, Sports Illustrated for Kids, and then we've got our comics over here. So we've got things like Avengers, Batman, Spider-Man, Superman, and X-Men. And those do circulate. Anything that has a barcode sticker is available to check out with your library card. These are our juvenile magazines here in the end, so let's take a look at what we've got. We've got the latest issue of Cricket. This is the literary one, Literary Adventures for Independent Readers. So if you have kids that are really into reading and writing, this is a great magazine for them to check out. It's always got lots of short stories that are written. I'll show you another one. Just lots of short stories, so it's really going to give your kids a lot of inspiration and modeling for writing. There's another one. We've got another Cricket magazine called Faces, all about people and cultures across the globe. So this one is a very timely issue, all about global health. We've got Muse, which is the science and exploration for inquisitive minds. So this one has lots of scientific articles. This one's got the exoplanet that wasn't, climate changing flowers, the girl who changed the universe, hunting exoplanets, lots of scientific articles for kids. We have National Geographic Kids. No new issues here right now because they're all checked out. Someone came in and checked out the last few new issues. So the latest one we have is from January. So the last two someone checked out. Ranger Rick Jr., Rick Jr. Raising Robins. Kids like animals. Scooby-Doo, nothing new. I don't know if we're still carrying that. We haven't had a new issue in a while. Zoo books, all about chimpanzees. And these are nice issues because the entire magazine is about a certain type of animal. So the whole thing is all about chimpanzees. And this is a great kind of magazine to have your kids read and pick up and put down and just read captions. If your kids aren't really big on reading a whole long novel, magazines will fit the bill. So don't forget about our juvenile magazines. So here we are at the nonfiction collection. Let's take a look. We've got a book I think that was new last month, Climate Action by Seymour Simon. He's written many nonfiction books and they're really, really popular. We've got some seasonal books put out right now. You can see we've got Easter and Passover. By the time this video comes out, those holidays probably will already have passed, so we'll probably put some new seasonal ones out, or there'll be new nonfiction ones that we can add. Pretty Salma was new late last year. It was a Little Red Riding Hood story from Africa, so I wanted to put that out again, give it some more circulation. We've got Bill Nye's Great Big World of Science, that was new recently. Chemistry for Kids. We've got a biology one coming in soon, so I put this one on display just to get it some circulation and to draw some interest for when the new title comes out about biology. We've got I'm Trying to Love Rocks, Ocean Anatomy, so not too many new nonfiction books on this side. The other side we have some, so we'll take a look. Our nonfiction wraps around this long yellow bookcase. We've got our Steve Jenkins and Robin Page book about what do you do if you work at the zoo. Almost a picture book format for that book. We've got our COVID books out again. COVID has not gone away, so we still want to keep focus on that, make sure everyone's keeping safe and doing what they need to do. Everyday Workings of Machines, that was new think late last year, early this year. Bionic Bodies, Modern Art Explorer, and My Wildlife. So not too many new nonfiction right now. They've all been circulating. So we've got the Awesome Asian Americans book, Hard-Boiled Bugs for Breakfast, Jack Perletsky, one of my favorite poets from when my kids were growing up and when I was teaching. We've got a couple new Who Was books in here. So we've got a Who Was Princess Diana. Add to the collection. We didn't have that one. And Who Was Alexander Hamilton. Our Who Was books are all kept separately because kids seem to look for those when they come in and call them Who Was. So rather than search the entire juvenile biography, we've got them set aside. Grace Banker and her Hello Girls Answer the Call. This is about a story of the World War I telephone operators. We've got the first of one of Kate Messner's History Smashers books here. So this is Pearl Harbor, and if you like it, there are other ones. I'll show you those. We've got the one about women's right to vote, the Mayflower. Hopefully we'll add some more of these in our collection, and this one is about Pearl Harbor. We've been updating our country books in the collection, and we've been adding country profiles as another choice. One series we have here is called Enchantments of the World, and that's from Scholastic. This is called Country Profiles, and it's just a shorter version of a country book. Great for doing projects, finding information. This one's about the Ukraine, and we've added some other countries. You'll see one when we wrap around. The Pig War, that was new last month, so we'll wrap around. Take a look up top. There's our book about Melville Dewey again from last month. New Zealand is another new country we've gotten in. We've got this book called Sprouting Wings, the true story of James Herman Banning, the first African-American pilot to fly across the United States. So this is a picture book biography. One of everyone's favorite children's authors, Tomie dePaola. This is The Worlds of Tomie dePaola. So this could be for adults or children, really. It's a nice, hefty book all about the art and his stories. Really something special to look through. And then we've got our other books that were new last month about Patrick Mahomes and J.K. Rowling. These are a few more books I pulled out because we'll be adding these to the collection soon. The Wisdom of Trees. This is by the author Lita Judge. And what I like about this is it gives a picture book page for you to read with your kids, and then some facts about it. So, together with my fellow trees, we form a secret kingdom. And then it says trees have their own stories, and it tells you all about different species of trees. So every page has got a little bit to read, and then some facts that you can read if your kids are ready for higher level nonfiction. So we've got that one. We've got a story called Butterfly for a King, and this is about beautiful Kamehameha butterfly that lives in Hawaii, nowhere else on earth, named to honor the great king who united the Hawaiian Islands. So I'll see if we can find a good picture in here for you. The history, I'll skip ahead to the back. And here's a great one. All right, so we've got that one. We've got one about Newton's laws of motion. So this is from a series called STEM Makerspace Projects. And this came to us through our Junior Library Guild. And a book about invasive species in infographics. And we'll take a peek at that as well. So really, there is something for everyone in our collection. If you're not into fiction, we've got nonfiction, we've got graphic novels, we've got a little of everything, so be sure to ask us for some recommendations. We've got 2 new biographies that we're adding to our nonfiction collection. We've got the biography about Joe Biden and the biography about Kamala Harris. So we always make sure we add the latest president to our collection, so be sure to look for those in our juvenile biography collection.